All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Remarkable Coach podcast. I am here with Guinness World Record holder, Scott Flansburg, the human calculator. Scott, I don't really even know what more of an intro I can give to you other than Guinness World Record holder, human calculator. So please just, I like to start this podcast, it's open-ended conversation style. So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, thank you. And yes, when I visit schools and do performances, they introduce me as the fastest human calculator from the Guinness Book of World Records. And I've held that record 20 years in a row. And the kids freak out. So it is a dream come true. There's no cooler intro. I mean, I have a TV show on the History Channel, a best-selling author and all that stuff. But the Guinness World Record really just, wrote my ticket for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how did you come to this realization that you could do mathematics in your head at an outrageously rapid pace?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, when I was in elementary school, it started showing up. I mean, adding, multiplying, dividing, it just made sense. But it was eighth grade. My buddy and I were out in front of math class, waiting to go to math class, and he had a calculator, which was a new thing when we were going to school. And he just asked me randomly 28 plus 28, and he hit equals, and I said 56, but he accidentally hit equals again. And on some calculators, when you do that, it automatically adds that number to itself again. And he goes, well, hey, what's 28 more? And I said 84. And he goes, what's 28 more? And it was like something woke up in my brain, because that's my world record. Is they gave me 15 seconds to count by a random number they selected, and I had to race an accountant using a 10-key calculator. So they chose 38, and in 15 seconds, my world record is 36 answers in those 15 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll demo it for you. You want to try it?
Sure.
So, people listening, tuning in, if they do on their calculator, usually an iPhone works best. If you do 5 plus 5 and you hit equals, it's going to say 10. But if you hit equals again, it adds 5 more. And if you just keep hitting equals, it'll keep counting by that number you added to itself. So just pick a random 2-digit number you want me to count by. And if you want to punch it in your calculator and check it, great. If not, I promise you I'm going to nail it.
Okay. 43.
So 43 plus 43 plus 43 and so on. So here we go. 86, 129, 172, 215, 258, 301, 344, 387, 430, 473, 516, 559, 602, 645, 688, 731, 7748, 178, 609, 039, 46989. Like that. I can just get going as fast as I can talk.
Wow, that's awesome. Is there a shortcut, a trick to that, or are you literally just calculating the addition in your head, or?
I'm crunching numbers, man, as fast as I can think and talk. And when I did this on Guinness World Records and I beat the accountant in the calculator, we went to a commercial and they said, well, hang on a second. We actually think you're cheating. We don't think you're calculating. We think you've memorized all these answers. And I said, well, that would be pretty incredible. I should still get in the Guinness Book of World Records. And they said, can you prove to us that you're not memorizing this? So instead of starting at 0, they ended up starting at a random 3-digit number, like 357. And then they hit plus, and then they picked a number like 63 and hit equals. And then I had to start counting by 63, starting at a random number. And I still went at the exact same pace. So that's why they allowed me to stay in.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. And now and we have another video coming out from the World Championships where I actually do a 3-digit number. So I think it was 258 or something like that. So I did that one, but there's more numbers in the answers, the bigger answers. So I only ended up getting 26 answers in 15 seconds of a 3-digit number. But when they checked it and they counted the number of digits that I said in that 15 seconds, it was the same exact amount of digits as I was counting by a 2-digit number.
Okay. That's crazy. I'm probably like your anti-hero.
How so? You're not good with numbers?
I flunked out of pre-calculus in my junior year of high school because it's too abstract and it couldn't hold my attention. I aced computer class. I did very well in algebra because it was very relevant to computer programming. I have a cybersecurity background. I always had fun, taking binary numbers and converting it into ASCII code and all that kind of stuff, but I would never do it in my head. I think just the abstractness of it all, it just didn't vibe with me. So it's,
I got a way to code it into your brain so you can feel good with numbers if you want to try it.
Give it to me, baby.
The secret to numbers is every number higher than 9 adds back down to 9. And when I say adds down, let me explain.
Yeah.
Think of a number higher than 9, like the number 11. Next step is adding all those digits in that number together. So 11 has 1 and 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2.
Sure.
And then just subtract that total from the starting number. So 11, take away 2, gives you 9. So let's try that with the number 10. 1, 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. 10, take away 1 is 9. So try it with 12. 1, 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 12, take away 3 is 9. So now you pick a 2-digit number and I'll do it for you.
23, Michael Jordan.
2 plus 3 is 5. 23, take away 5 is 18. And that answer, 1, 8, adds up to 9. Pick one more, bigger.
42.
4 and 2 is 6. 42, take away 6 is 36. And 3 and 6 adds up to 9. And you picked 42 because of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Boom, I like you.
There you go. So this is a number pattern that works for all numbers. So when you're driving around or you got numbers around you, like the next time you're driving and you see a speed limit sign and it says 55, this is a simple exercise to sort of awake your brain for numbers. So 55, 5 and 5 is 10. 55, take away 10 is 45, and 4 plus 5 is 9. It's a checker for the human brain to learn our math facts and how to add and subtract.
Nice.
So that's my mission. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that before.
No, I hadn't either. I discovered it for myself on 9/9/99, September 9th, 1999, 9/9/99 at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 18th hole, playing golf with Alice Cooper, who wrote a song called 18, and 1 and 8 is 9. And he asked me a question about that. And that's what inspired me to come up with this pattern.
Okay. So are you into like numerology?
I love numerology. Depends on which kind you're talking about. There's a couple kinds. There's like numbers in the Bible where they have their letters are also numbers. But then there's also people that use a capital N numerology, which is when you take your name and numbers and try to make the universe fit into your world.
Right.
And that never works, so I got away from that part of numerology.
Yeah, that you're always kind of reaching for something.
Yeah, it's like an astrology with numbers, and I never wanted to discredit numbers because numbers are so beautiful and logical, and there's patterns. With horoscopes and astrology and things like that, there's patterns that they go off of, but I'm just not convinced that those are accurate. So that's why I just, try not to cross the wires.
Yeah. Don't cross the streams.
That's right. Don't cross the streams. That's right. Ghostbusters.
Yep.
So that's my mission. That's my mission as the human calculator, is to reach every student on the planet Earth before they're 9 years old. So when they're 9, every number they see every day that year goes back to their age, the number 9. And by the end of that year, to make them feel like they're fluent in basic numbers and arithmetic.
Awesome. So tell me, that's a great pivot. Tell me more about your coaching. Who are your clients? Let's start there.
Well, as we learned, it's everybody, because you can't avoid numbers. If you're in business, you got to deal with numbers. If you're a kid going to school, you're going to deal with numbers. If you're a parent with kids coming home, you're going to be dealing with math. And so we created programs for all ages and all different variations so that no matter where you're at in life, you can figure out a way to feel more comfortable and confident with numbers in everyday life. And my favorite one is the students, because so many students get off on the wrong foot when it comes to numbers and arithmetic, because most of our programs just tell kids to memorize their math facts and just get through that way. And that really doesn't give them a good foundation. But the other part that's exciting for me is the business people, because I guess a lot of business people don't realize, because we all have calculators on our iPhones or our phones now,
Hmm.
but having a bit of number sense comes in handy in a business meeting. And so I just created a program to help people feel like they can just do some averages and estimations and quick totals, where it would impress people around them in meetings, but also just make them feel more confident with numbers.
Uh-huh. And where is that program available? Is that online, or are you doing like one-to-one on that?
Humancalculator.com,
Yeah.
scottflansburg.com. And there's all kinds of different programs for different ages, and they can check them out. And, we got money back guarantee, and got coloring books for the younger kids. I mean, we're finding a way to help everybody like numbers.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What Tell me a little bit about what sort of struggles do you find when you're working with students, perhaps like myself, who find mathematics and arithmetic a little bit abstract? And what do you do to
Yeah,
help them overcome those roadblocks?
great question. And that's what I do, is I make math real life, how to incorporate it into real life, and show you how advantageous it is to be fluent in the language of arithmetic and basic numbers. And just to give you one example, if we were, you and me and a couple other people were at a business meeting, and somebody had to figure out 20% of 80, and everybody at the table freezes,
Hmm.
but you just go, oh, well, I can do that. And, you just pop it out.
Hmm.
Well, that would impress people and leave an impression upon those people, and even give them more faith and confidence with you.
Sure, 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 sure.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of ways to do that. And then the other thing I do is, I just to have some fun, is I'm also a human calendar. So you can tell me a date, and I can calculate what day of the week it's on. So you have a date in your life, like your birthday, or a date you want to share?
April 21st, 1980.
Monday. You were born on a Monday.
And
Did you know that?
there's got to be, I did not know that. No, I have no idea. I believe you.
I'm
What's
right.
Yeah, is there a trick to that? Do you have like do you have like a cornerstone where you start from and then you go back or forward from there? Or how are you calculating that?
Yeah, exactly. I have an algorithm that's zero based.
Yeah.
And so you can give me any date in history, and I can plug those numbers in as you're saying them, and pretty much come up with the answer as soon as you're done talking.
Uh-huh. That's crazy. That's great.
So it's an algorithm. You got to do some number crunching. You got to take the year, and then add the year divided by 4 for leap years, and the date, and there's values for the month based on how many days are in each previous month. You add all those numbers together and divide that total by 7, because
Uh-huh.
there's 7 days in a week, and the remainder of that division tells me what day of the week it's on. So it looks pretty fast, but I'm actually doing it while you're talking. So when
Yeah.
you say June 3rd, I'm already done. I'm waiting. You're holding me up by taking a breath to say the year.
My sincere apologies, Scott. I do apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
I apologize for slowing you
No. So that, well, and the calendar doesn't make any sense. Numbers don't make sense to people. And that all goes back to the Romans. We used to
down.
use the Roman numerals. I is 1, V is 5, X is 10.
Sure.
And that's how our minds are still wired, to count 1 through 10. But if you look at a calculator, there's no 10. You
Zero
have to
through
hit
nine.
1, 0 to get a 10.
Yeah.
There's 10 digits, but 0 through 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Sure. I was just going to
that's when
ask
you
you
turn on the
about that.
calculator in your brain. You know, Working in computer codes, zeros and ones, how important they are. And everything starting at 0 is, got to happen. And numbers are the same way. When you turn on a calculator, the only reason it works and you get the right answer is because it starts at 0, not 1 or 100.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Talk about what are some big wins that you've seen as a coach. So for people who have maybe had really big blocks, tell us about some big wins that you've had where you've really helped some people kind of you know, come to realization that they can do this.
Well, my favorite ones are family math nights, because you got parents sitting with their kids in the school, going through this stuff and learning at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And when the aha moment hits the parent and the child at the same time, basically,
Yeah.
that's magic to me, because that parent is showing that child that, hey, I don't know everything. I want to learn too. And it just makes them feel more part of it, instead
Sure.
of parents saying, oh, go ask your big brother or something like that. Now the parents are there, and it's fun to watch parents, because they haven't been to school in 10, 20, 30 years, and they're trying to do this stuff, and it's changed. And the way I teach it, just so you understand, is from my mentality, I have figured out the best, the easiest, and most efficient way to get the answer in mathematics with my mind.
Uh-huh.
If I use techniques that required pencil and paper, I couldn't translate that into doing it in my brain. And so
Uh-huh.
I've created algorithms and patterns and strategies that incorporate just your mind. You don't need to see, or you don't need to even see the numbers to do the calculation.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Interesting. What about, so those are some big wins. What about some struggles that you've had? Have you had students over the years that have been, that have just really, really struggled with this? And how did you help them? How did you help them overcome those struggles?
Well, I spend a lot of my time with remedial students, because there are a lot of roadblocks. But my experience is it's anxiety. The kids, they can't get out of their own way. They're just so nervous and afraid, and that's just not for math. That's anything. If I took you out on the golf course and you haven't played, and there's a bunch of people watching, and you're not going to perform well, probably. And so, same thing with numbers and arithmetic. That's why I just try to start at zero, get everybody on the same page, give them a strong foundation, and then we see how high they can go in higher mathematics. But right now, if these students are memorizing their math facts, not really getting a good foundation of number sense, by the time they get to algebra, it usually crashes for them.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Right on. What do you have any recommendations for new coaches, for coaches kind of, who coming into the scene and they want to help people and they're maybe not sure where to start?
Yeah, I'm friends with a lot of coaches,
Hmm.
and so I try to tune into as many of them as I can, as much as possible. To me, those type of people, they got to be thinking very quickly. They got to be spontaneous. Some of them have certain courses that they go through,
Hmm.
but in today's world, I think people are looking for innovative coaches that can be real, not just push you through some curriculum, but
Yeah.
identify with you and sort of grow with you and help develop their curriculum, which should happen if they're really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. I agree with that 100%. I think it's an important part of building that trust with a student is showing them, showing them the transparency, right? Like I'm not perfect, but I can help guide you down this path.
Well, I'll give you an example. I could pull out my old Tony Robbins courses from when I, go to his classes around the world,
Hmm.
and I could just act like a coach and read that stuff to you, but
Hmm.
it's not alive. If you're not breathing it, living it,
Yeah.
passionate about it, you're not going to last long.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's great. Well, cool, Scott. I mean, is there anything that I didn't cover that you want to chat a little bit about? I know you've got the counting bee. Tell us a little bit about that. I forgot about that.
Thank you. The counting bee is like a spelling bee, except the kids get 15 seconds in each round. And the first round, they have to count by three. The only difference is they don't start at zero. Every student gets a random starting number. So when you walk up on stage, we might say to you, okay, start at 7, count by 3, go. You got to say 10, 13, 16, 19, and go as fast as you can for those 15 seconds. And we count your answers. The next level, you count by 4, starting at a random number. Then by 5, by 6, by 7, the kids go as high as they can. The student who won the Arizona counting bee in our test market was counting by 13, and he got over 20 answers in 15 seconds. It was very impressive. It's a free event, and thecountingbee.org, people can go there and register. All the rules are there. It's just one page. You can print them off, let the students practice, and then just submit your top scores to our website. And we'll be inviting the top 10 mathletes or number crunchers from each age group to the national finals.
That's awesome. I love that you call them mathletes. That's great. I love that. Speaking of athletes,
yeah, and we got to celebrate these kids just like athletes.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties here. Scott's on the road, so he's working out of his car, and I think we lost contact with him. So apologies for that, but thank you for sticking around for this awesome interview. Thank you for joining us at the Remarkable Coach podcast. I'm your host, Mike Pacheco, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Adios.